There are places on this planet where the walls whisper tales of sorrow and fear, where shadows move on their own accord, and where hundreds, if not thousands, of people have reported chilling encounters they can't explain. Today, I'm taking you inside 5 of the most haunted places on Earth. These are locations steeped in tragedy, places where the past refuses to stay buried. Are you brave enough to watch until the very end? Let's find out. Our first destination is an island so terrifying that the Italian government has declared it off-limits to visitors. Welcome to Poveglia Island, a small patch of land in the Venetian lagoon with a dark and disturbing history. Its story begins during the bubonic plague, when it was used as a quarantine zone, a final destination for the sick and dying. It's said that over 160,000 souls perished here, their bodies burned in massive pits. The soil itself is rumored to be composed of more human ash than actual dirt. But the horror didn't end there. In the 1920s, a mental asylum was built on the island. The hospital's director was a sinister figure who reportedly tortured his patients with cruel and experimental procedures, including crude lobotomies. Legend says he was eventually driven mad by the very ghosts he tormented and threw himself from the hospital's bell tower. Those who have dared to venture near the island's shores report hearing disembodied cries carried on the wind, seeing fleeting shadow figures darting among the decaying vine-choked buildings, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and sorrow that sinks deep into your bones. Fishermen in the area often steer clear, sometimes even pulling up human bones in their nets. Today, this fog-covered island sits silent, an eerie monument to suffering. But many believe the spirits of the plague victims and the asylum patients are still there, trapped, watching and waiting in the shadows. Next, we journey deep into the misty Irish countryside to Charleville Castle, one of Europe's most beautiful and most haunted Gothic estates. Built in the late 18th century, this castle looks like it was plucked straight from a fairy tale, but its history is more of a ghost story. The castle's most famous spectral resident is a young girl named Harriet. She was the daughter of the Earl of Charlemont and, in the early 1800s, met a tragic end. While playing on the main staircase, she either slid down the banister or tripped, falling to her death on the stone floor below. Ever since, visitors and staff have reported strange occurrences linked to her spirit. They hear the phantom giggles of a child echoing through empty halls, the faint sound of footsteps running up and down the very staircase where she died, and sometimes even the screams of a little girl. Paranormal investigators who have spent the night here have captured electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, believed to be Harriet trying to communicate. But she's not the only spirit said to roam these halls. The ghosts of druids, who once practiced their rituals on the ancient land where the castle was built, are also said to make their presence known. The castle has become so notorious for its paranormal activity that it now hosts ghost tours and overnight investigations, inviting brave thrill-seekers to experience the chilling atmosphere for themselves. It's a place where history and the supernatural intertwine, leaving guests to wonder who or what is still walking its corridors. From Ireland we cross the sea to England, to the site of what was once called the most haunted house in the entire country. Its stories sent chills around the world and became a benchmark for paranormal investigation. I'm talking about Borley Rectory. Built in 1862 near Borley Church in Essex, the Victorian mansion was unremarkable at first. However, strange things began to happen soon after the Reverend Henry Bull and his family moved in. They reported hearing unexplained ghostly footsteps, disembodied whispers, and seeing strange lights. The activity intensified dramatically in the 1920s and 30s when the Foister family lived there. They were plagued by relentless poltergeist activity. Stones were thrown, furniture was overturned, and cryptic messages mysteriously appeared on the walls. The most famous legend associated with the rectory is the ghost of a nun. The story goes that a 13th century nun from a nearby convent had an affair with a monk from the rectory. When their relationship was discovered, the monk was executed, and the nun was bricked up alive within the convent walls. Her sorrowful spirit was seen for centuries, wandering the grounds as if searching for her lost love. The case of Borley Rectory became a media sensation, attracting famous paranormal investigators like Harry Price, who documented hundreds of incidents. The house was badly damaged by a fire in 1939 and finally demolished in 1944. But even with the building gone, the legends live on. Some say the ghostly activity continues on the land where the rectory once stood, a haunting reminder that some stories never truly end. Our next journey takes us to the sun-drenched landscape of Rajasthan, India, to a place where ancient legend warns all who enter to leave before sunset. This is Bangar Fort, a 17th century fortress that is now a magnificent ruin, widely considered to be India's most haunted location. The Archaeological Survey of India has placed a sign at its entrance, legally forbidding visitors from staying on the premises after dark. But why? The reason lies in a powerful curse. There are two main legends, but the most popular one tells of a tantric magician named Singhiya. He fell deeply in love with the beautiful princess Ratnavati of Bhangar. Knowing she would never have him, he tried to use dark magic to win her affection, enchanting a cosmetic oil she was going to use. But the princess saw through his trickery. She discovered the spell and threw the oil onto a large boulder. The enchanted oil caused the boulder to roll towards the magician, crushing him. In his dying breath, Singhiya cast a devastating curse upon the entire fort, declaring that no one would ever be able to live within its walls again. Shortly after, a great battle destroyed the fort and killed all of its inhabitants, including the princess. It is said that their spirits are now trapped within the ruins, unable to find peace. Tourists and locals who visit during the day often report a strange, heavy feeling in the air. Those who have dared to linger near sunset claim to hear eerie whispers, disembodied screams, and the distinct sound of footsteps on the dusty paths. They see fleeting shadows moving across the crumbling walls, as if the ghosts of Bhangar are replaying their final tragic moments every single night. For our final stop, we travel to the United States, to Vicksburg, Mississippi, home to one of America's most haunted houses, McRaven House. Its history is a timeline of the city itself, having been built in three distinct sections: the Frontier Cottage in 1797, the Empire-style middle section in 1836, and the Grand Greek Revival Front in 1849. The house has seen it all, from its origins as a way station on a pioneer trail to its use as a Confederate field hospital during the brutal siege of Vicksburg. With such a long and dramatic history, it's no surprise that McRaven is said to be teeming with spirits. In fact, many people call it the most haunted house in Mississippi. The sheer number of ghostly encounters reported here is staggering. Visitors on tours describe hearing unexplained footsteps on the stairs, doors creaking open and slamming shut on their own, and lights flickering or turning on and off in empty rooms. The most active spirit is said to be that of Mary Elizabeth Howard, a former resident who died in childbirth in the 1830s. Her ghost is often seen in her old bedroom, and some people feel a sudden, intense sadness when they enter the room. Another prominent spirit is John Bob, a later owner who was murdered by Union soldiers just outside the house. His angry presence is sometimes felt, and his ghost has been spotted looking out the windows. With at least 5 former residents having died within its walls, and countless soldiers perishing on its grounds, McRaven House is a place where the past is very much present, and its ghostly residents refuse to rest. From a plague-ridden island to a cursed Indian fort, these places remind us that some parts of history refuse to stay buried. The echoes of tragedy and suffering can linger for centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the world. So tell me, which of these haunted locations would you least want to find yourself exploring at night? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dark mystery. Next time we'll be diving into the chilling world of haunted objects that are said to curse anyone who dares to touch them. You won't want to miss it if you dare. Thanks for watching.